Cracking little birds, aren't they? But let's be honest, in winter, they're a little bit drab, don't you think? Especially if you compare it to what they look like in their breeding plumage. Look at that. The russety cheek and neck. Isn't that beautiful? But then it turns into that drab winter bird. So what's happening? What's going on there? Well, it's called moult. All birds do it because over time, wear and tear, they get exposed to UV light. The feathers, they get ruffled, they get broken, they get into poor condition. Of course, feathers are vitally important for birds, not just for flight, but to keep them warm, and in the case of the little grebe, to keep it waterproof. So they need to be replaced, and they're replaced by moulting. How does all of that work? Well, I'll show you. Come over here. Bird here, bird wings there. What happens is, beneath the existing feather is a follicle with a new feather growing out of it, and that new feather pushes out the existing feather. So as the feather is moulted here, there's the new feather just pushing its way out like that. Isn't that brilliant? And the thing is that birds have evolved different techniques to moult. Let's have a look at a common widespread bird, the mallard, the male mallard. Beautiful bird, that lovely shiny green head and that blood red chest it's got there. Well, when a mallard moults, it actually moults most of its feathers all at once, including all of its flight feathers. Look at that. It looks bedraggled. It actually looks ill, but it's not. It's actually in moult. And during that period, they're flightless for several weeks. So they are just going to hide away in the vegetation. That's one technique. Now, most birds, including birds of prey, actually do a symmetrical moult. If you think about it, bird of prey, let's take a kestrel. Well, it has to hunt whether it's moulting or not. So what the kestrel does is that it'll moult this feather in its left wing, and at the same time, symmetrically, it'll moult the same feather in its right wing there. Isn't that superb? Now, let's go back to our little grebe. At the moment, it's drab, it's in winter plumage. But then it's got to moult into its summer plumage. But then it's got to moult once more into its winter plumage. So it has to moult twice. And that is going to take an awful lot of energy. But some birds have found a way to circumvent that. Birds like the reed bunting, the starling, and also the house sparrow. Now, these all show a thing called abrasive moult. They use the wear and tear to take advantage of that. Let me show you what happens. If you think about a house sparrow, it's very active. It'll dust bathe, it'll go in and out of the eaves, so it's moving constantly. And what happens is that the feathers get abraded. Let's have a look at a male house sparrow in winter and in summer. You see constantly on that black bib on the summer male, and look across the winter male, you can see little bits of black just starting to peek through. Well, what happens? Well, this is the house sparrow's neck feather, and with all the movements, it becomes abraded. It wears off. So the ends wear off so that you can see the black feathers underneath. And of course, in the male house sparrow, what it means is that by the beginning of spring, the old feathers have worn off, the ends have all worn off, and the black bib is back in place. So really, what you're getting there is you're getting two outfits in one for just half the energy. Ingenious, ingenious. Right, let's go back to Chris and Michaela.